Ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you back from the coffee break. We have, well, it's not fair to say more interesting panel than the ones before, but definitely AI topic is something that will catch your ears and will lead to hopefully in-depth discussions. So I'd kindly invite you to grab a seat. You can take your coffee or water with you. And to kick us off, we are following the same structure as before. We're starting with a keynote. We're starting with a keynote by Thomas, who is already here on the stage. And yes, please kindly join the seats, as you will have time to discuss further later. Yes, Wolfgang, thank you. I don't have those on me right now, so yes, that's helpful. I've also heard that you have to speak really in a very low voice so that people start listening in. Anyway, without further ado, Thomas, please, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for the organizers for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to give you this keynote about our project CAIDX. That's clinical AI-based diagnostics. And the title of my talk is the human side of DTX AI. So I won't bore you with any mathematical stuff, so to speak, but I will focus on the human parts actually. And the subtitle is also a holistic approach of implementation. So I have a lot of slides. I'm sorry for that, but I may skip some of them as we go through. But yeah. So a brief agenda of what I will talk here is first a brief motivation of our project CAIDX. Then I will dig into the translational gap. And then my claim is the human side of AI. We do not have like a magic button that we can press or an AI method that makes our solutions implemented in just one case. So we definitely need something like change management or also frameworks for implementation. So if you just don't want to start from scratch every time again, it would be great to have a framework. Then, of course, the EU AI Act has some of new requirements. Very briefly about AI literacy, real-world effectiveness, and in the end, I have just one slide about a decision support system and some thoughts about open source. So what is the background of our project CAIDX? It's an Interreg Baltic Sea region project. And here we focus on two scenarios, actually. The first scenario is that in the university, researchers have already developed an AI algorithm, and they have clinically verified it, but now they want to bring it to other hospitals. And so they need to CE mark it, but that's not their job. So they need a collaboration with a company. And the other situation is that a startup has developed an AI algorithm, but they need to clinically verify it. So they need a clinic to do this work, and they need a collaboration. So these were the starting points for our project. And we were also inspired by another project that we did previously, where we had the idea of how to bring a biomarker from a candidate to the market. And we somehow created a framework, structured it according to the technology readiness levels. It's still online, and if you're interested, you can look it up at biomarker.nu. And we had several perspectives, a technical, a commercial, and a regulatory track inside this. And this was somehow also the motivation for us to have the same idea for an AI-based method. So how can I bring a new AI-based algorithm into day-to-day clinical use. So if you look up at PubMed, the publications, and I just looked for artificial intelligence in the title, you can see that there is an exponential growth in publications. It's nothing new to you. And on the other hand, if you look at how get innovations into use, into really day-to-day clinical use, there are publications, for instance, this one I cited, that say there's a 17-year gap to bring an innovation into the clinic. And in the other publication I have brought up here, you see that from 100 CE marked AI products, only 18 had systematic evidence about application performance and or evidence and cost savings. So we have a translational gap. And here they have claimed in this research paper that in 2 published randomized clinical investigations evaluating the benefits of sepsis ML model, only and 500 published articles are about this subject, but only these 2 are about the clinical effectiveness. So we have a translational gap. And here are a number of the FDA approved medical devices, 882. And just from the field of radiology, there are 213 CE marked medical radiological devices. But how many do we really see in clinical day-to-day care? That's the thing. So I will drop this or skip these challenges. You already know them by heart, I guess. And in my further talk, I will try to focus on the human side. So we had several questions. So how to integrate the new solution into your environment, the clinical IT landscape, or also, or better say, into your workflow in the clinic, and how to create trust in the clinicians, in the clinical end users, and how to manage the end-to-end implementation of a new solution. So this is a very complex process that involves different specialties, and it's an interdisciplinary task. So you have medical people, you have AI people, you have business people, you have people from procurement, you have legal experts, and all these people have different perspectives, sometimes speak different languages. And so you need somehow a plan or a tool, or it would be great to have something, so that you do not start from scratch every time again. You have to implement a new model. And one of the things that you might use is some kind of change management. I already said it's an interdisciplinary part. And why do we need change management? So what you can see, the classical project management stuff, quality, cost, and time, and stuff like that, that is above the sea level, but below it, you have a lot of other things like acceptance, attitude, and behavior. And a project might not only have supporters, you may also have opponents, and even more, you may have hidden opponents. And this is the complicated stuff that you have to manage if you want to implement something. And the complicated thing about this is there is no recipe. You cannot get a blueprint for this, because in every situation you have different people, you have different situations. So it's quite challenging to come up with a good solution for this. And that is actually what we tried to address also in our project, but it's only a very small part of it. But I personally believe it's a very important part. However, it's difficult, as I said, to give a really like a clear blueprint to how to cope with this. There are a lot of methodologies out there. I just picked up one of this. What I really like about this is this holistic view. And as you can see, if you have, in this model, if you have a vision, consensus, you have the skills, you provide incentives, you have the resources, and you have a plan, then you might have success. But if something lacks, you may end up in either confusion or sabotage, anxiety or resistance, frustration or treadmill. So this is just like a theoretical thing, but if you think about it, I think it makes somehow sense. So to have at least this in mind, this change management topics, would help a lot in the implementation. I will also skip this due to time issues. I also try to look up into in PubMed what actually are there any models that that look out in healthcare that I already used, like change management models. And there's one publication, the Kotter model is cited quite sometimes, and another model, but actually in healthcare it's not that often used, actually, as far as I know. So in our project, we also picked out the Kotter model, actually, but you can pick out any model what you either know or think is would make more sense, actually. So now I switch to another topic, implementation frameworks. So I said it would be great to have like an overall framework of all the different tasks and perspectives so that you don't have to start from scratch every time again in an implementation. And this framework here, I like pretty much the overview. However, it looks already quite complex, actually. But if you look at these elements, yeah, they have this specific, and I think the first model that they published had only A to E, like specification, component development, combination of components into the system, integration of system into environment, and routine use. But then, during their work, they found out that F and G, the organization engagement and policy domains, are also very important. And if you look, they have implementation, change management and adoption, governance, and then in the policy domains, regulatory and legal aspects, the ethics aspects, privacy, transparency, and equity, and of course, quality and safety. So they have somehow extended this model, and I've provided you with a link if you're interested. It's yeah, very interesting to read. Then there's another group of frameworks. They are mainly used for publishing or reporting AI-based research. And yeah, I have just listed them up here. They also serve for specific purposes. Some here, the first for a silent study, and then Decide AI is more for clinical trials, phase 1 and 2. And I also want to just have brought up this paper here that is a systematic review of frameworks for artificial intelligence in medicine. And they have or brought out this, that medical AI research should be transparent, reproducible, and ethical. And of course, this is the research perspective, but we should also have this in mind if we have an AI product, because we have to closely work together with the researchers and of course with the medical people. Ethical applicability is another field, and you can probably make a whole conference only about ethical aspects in AI. So I will not really dig into this. I've just listed this up for you afterwards to read. But there are a lot of ethical frameworks also. One of the most known is the assessment list of trustworthy AI from the EU. However, this is not really practical. So if you want to apply this, it's quite challenging, and therefore I just picked out another framework also under the headline From Principles to Practice. So this is a method that they have published based on also, or with the intention to make a practical framework to use this. I will also skip this one. That is the details a little bit of how they constructed this. But if you are in some case want to really have the ethical things up front, then you can have a look at that. The next thing, the legal framework, you know, the EU AI Act. I just references also just for looking it up later for you. You see the timeline. It's the EU AI Act came into force 1st of August this year, but and now the timeline is ticking. There are several times, like 6 months later, you can see up what is up there, what has to be in place at that time, and so on. What is also very useful is the AI Act Explorer. It's very nice tool actually, and the intention is to make the legal text a little bit more accessible. And here you can really dig into the different how's it called, articles actually, and also the annex and stuff like that. And I think they also have a little bit of explanation there. AI literacy. So AI literacy is also not just, it's more dimensional actually. And in this publication I listed here, they came up with a literacy assessment matrix. Because if you want to assess the AI literacy, then you have to have something. How do you measure this? And I thought, it looks quite interesting, so that you can have a tool to measure the AI literacy. And so why AI literacy? Yeah, because it's in the EU AI Act. There's Article 4, AI literacy. And most importantly, I have highlighted here that providers and deployers of AI systems shall take measures to ensure, to their best extent, a sufficient level of AI literacy of their staff. So that would mean that, in my understanding, that a hospital having an AI system have to make sure that the staff has the right literacy. So if in the hospital you apply an AI system, you have to train all the people that are somehow dealing with the system, at least to the EU AI Act. Then real-world performance, effectiveness. There's a very nice publication, and one of the highlights were the performance of AI tools must be verified across diverse settings of clinical use, because they have found out that in the laboratory it works fine, but then if you go to the clinic, it might also work fine, but if you go to another clinic, may not work. And they had a case where there was an update of the software of an MRI machine, and somehow the model drifted away. So there's also this new requirement, or not new requirement, but an emphasis on post-market surveillance, and you really have like an agile loop, I guess, to monitor what the model is doing in order that it not drifts away. Yeah, so some other stuff about this real-world effectiveness, and because my time is running out, just one thought, how can we really guarantee that we have this transparency, reproducibility, and create trust with a black box? And the black box is often the thing that is somehow used to sell a product. And an alternative process might be to go open source. However, I have no idea how you can work with this approach as a company when you sell a product. I just wanted to make you aware of this project. The University Clinic in Leipzig, they have clinical decision support system, AI-based, up and running all over the clinic. They're using it in day-to-day clinical care, and they want to open source this stuff. So of course they are from the academic setting, so they don't have to make money with it. However, I just put it on the floor. Maybe we can discuss this in the panel later on. This is the so-called six-phase model from our CAIDX project. You cannot probably read it. It's just for you to how complex it may look like. And actually, these are not only the headlines. So you have to dig, or that's my vision is that you have to dig into everything and then have a description of that. And also not, my vision would be not on paper, but in a project management tool. But that is still to discuss in our consortium. Yeah, here's the website from our CAIDX project. You can follow us on LinkedIn. The project partners, lead partners is Denmark, Tartu Biotechnology Park is a partner. And yeah, we from Germany and from Poland, Sweden. Yeah, exactly. And Finland, of course. Yeah, funding, of course, available for the. It's a very small project, and unfortunately, we do not have funding for potential interested collaborators. But if you are interested, you're very welcome to contact us, and all the stuff that we produce will be freely available afterwards under an open source license. So. Thank you very much, and you're very welcome to ask any questions or later on in the panel.
There is time for a few questions to Thomas. Do we have any questions at the stage? Yes, please, we should have a microphone coming.
Thank you. Is it working? Okay, perfect. My question is related to the different frameworks that unless the last one that you show, which is your process, it was considering iterations most of the time. My point is, in digital world, most of the time we are iterative process, and we know that the modification, and this is coming under change management, it's not hard to implement unless it's really drifting the concept itself. That means we are really able to stop. I wasn't able to find this, and it will be really helpful if you have any example where something that it's out of change. Now, it cannot be managed as a change. It might stop the full process and tell that this is, okay, this is the end here.
Yeah, a very good question. Actually, I have not integrated it here in the slides. I'm not sure whether these frameworks really care about this, but I have definitely read this in some publications that you also have to care about, there was a specific term actually, phase, stop, I don't know exactly, it was like
so
phase.
You can name it concept drift
sometimes. Yeah, it can really stop the whole show, and I think you have to make sure, or you have to somehow care for like a fallback. I mean, if you said, you have to adapt all your workflow, integrate the AI solution into the workflow. And as I learned from the radiologists, they say, I will not accept a new tool. It has to be integrated into my tool. I don't want to use like 5 tools in parallel. It disturbs my workflow. So I think the good working solutions, they are somehow integrated. But if you integrate it, and then something happens and the model drifts or whatever, so you have to have a fallback version to go back to the old stuff. And I'm not sure whether this is really thought about in every process. So, but I'm not sure whether this is actually also in the EU AI Act. I'm not sure about. But I read this also, that you have to have a fallback.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, then thank you, Thomas. I will invite you to step already on the stage. I would also invite Paula as the moderator from Bayer Pharmaceuticals to take the moderator seat, and also other panelists, Pilvi, Priit, and Liisa-Lotte. Please take your place.
Hello, hello. All right, the microphone is working. Perfect. I am gonna try to be quiet enough so you will listen. And thank you so much, Thomas, for the presentation. I think a lot of food for thought. And I'm really eager to collaborate here with you and really listen to you. But I would also love the audience to be our co-pilot. So a few rules of the game. Anytime you have a question, the panel, please ask. But also the audience will give you a couple of chances for sure to ask already in the middle. So we don't have to wait until the end. And the second rule, it's a controversial topic, so feel free to disagree. We are here to form opinions, not walls. So it would be great to hear different opinions. So if we take a little step back, I would also like to introduce you a little bit, just to give everyone the context where you're coming from. So we have Pilvi Ilves there. She's head of radiology at the University of Tartu Hospital, has been really leading innovative initiatives there for well over a decade, and also introducing AI solutions. Then we have Priit Saluma there, CEO and founder of Better Medicine, which is essentially a flagship company in Estonia in the space of cancer diagnostics and lesion analysis, and really doing something quite special coming from my background as well, knowing that they are looking into multiple organs, so not just like addressing a small part of the problem, but already a bigger part. Liisa-Lotte Lääne. Liisa-Lotte is a legal expert, head of life sciences and healthcare group at Sorainen Estonia, and we can really lean on her today when we talk about the EU AI Act. And then Thomas is already familiar to you, senior project manager at Biocon Valley, and of course the CAIDX project. So I like to think in terms of systems a little bit. AI is something similar to digital health, but also completely different. We are talking about an innovation cycle that has begun recently that is very similar to, if you think about introduction of electricity or automobiles or maybe personal computer or other these types of radical shifts in technology. And usually these are distributed into 5 different stages. One is like invention. This has already happened here. Then introduction, where we are talking about a few bold ones who are adopting technologies at high risk, at high cost, early adopters. Then growth stage, when there has been more adoption, so meaning more and more organizations are getting bolder, people are getting bolder in picking up these solutions, and there are more providers who are refining their solutions and so forth, to maturity, when we're talking about like the competition is becoming more and more fierce and up until decline, right? Meaning that a new solution is going to replace the old one, like smartphones have been replacing personal computers. It is very clear that right now, with healthcare AI, we are in this introduction phase. Thomas is bringing a lot of these frameworks that we might be able to share and use together. What do you think, what are the kind of opportunities and challenges here for the developers and adopters at this early stage of health AI introduction? The field is really, it's like a wild west here. What is something exciting for you at this stage right now in defining this realm?
I'm Pilvi Ilves, and I want to start, and why I have listened the whole day, so I'm very thankful that I was invited, and I have followed the introducing the AI products for just years. And what we heard earlier, that doctors are so conservative that they don't want this. I don't think we have very many doctors here. And I must say, doctors want AI productions or all kind of electronic solutions very much. We are waiting, but they are not coming. What we can use, and this is the problem. Yeah. This is the real problem. And what is the problem? Because we lack people in healthcare, and the people who are working in healthcare, young people don't work in 2 positions like me or some more experience. They want the free time. They don't want a boring job. They want to work half position and travel to Barcelona or worldwide. They study 6 years and then they say, we take 2 years off. And it is not the problem here, it is problem in New York or other places. So we are waiting for solutions. And why the last years? First session we heard about genetics. But genetics is done once, genome, and it's ready. And then we follow up the people in radiology every year or every 2 years, and so on. We need help. For example, 20 years ago, there was a discussion. Do we need to buy MRI machine in Tartu University Hospital? Okay, they say, yeah, they bought. 2010, we had 1 MRI. How many we have now? 6. How many doctors I have? 30% more. So 1 to 6, now I have 20% more doctors. And of course, there are some things what we have received. And what is good in Estonia, what I have not mentioned, we have talked about prescription center, but we have from 2004 whole Estonia picture archive. All the images what we produce go to picture archive. Mm-hmm. And all the reports. So actually we are sitting in Tartu, but we are reporting 10 more hospitals from Tartu. Because the young people don't want to go in small towns. They want to stay in Tallinn or Tartu. And teleradiology is one challenge. And it is very good, of course. 300 kilometers away, there is an accident, and we can report. Our doctors can, every doctor in Estonia can access the picture archive and the reports. So accident 300 kilometers away, and our neurosurgeon can decide if to bring the patient here. But there are challenges. We just made the change, so we got the new platform with this picture archive. And what happened? There are 5 different solutions in different hospital system. So it took 2 years to implement this new platform because there were different systems. So, yeah.
So when you are right now looking at these different solutions, at this stage, maybe there is not like a selection framework in place in Tartu University Hospital yet, but what are the factors that you are really looking at as a user, like when you're choosing it, when you're saying there's not enough?
What are we looking now is just to have this general system, not the small pieces, like small stones. We receive now small stones to play, but we need that, like this picture hive, it is for whole Estonia, that the infosystems are for whole Estonia. But of course, it is a problem for Ministry of Social Affairs and health insurance system. They can make this. But in the hospital, we are waiting for these solutions that can do the boring job. That AI can do the boring job, and we can make the decision, clinical decision. So there are 4 different screenings, maybe in radiology play now. The mammography is most famous. I think everybody knows that you must check, but there is a prostate screening, lung screening, and it needs always 2 doctors. First can be AI, but we don't have these tools. We need to have 2 doctors, but we lack doctors. Yeah.
You asked about what is exciting right now in developing these things. So as it happens, we have been working with Pilvi for over 3 years now, developing these kind of tools that help to cover the boring job, as you put it. And what I think is exciting is that although we are one of these kind of companies that has to navigate in the environment where there are no frameworks, there are actually a lot of rules you have to follow, and you have to like discover those rules sometimes on the go. But what is exciting is that there are still some doctors who understand, like Pilvi does, that we cannot scale in healthcare through humans or people. We have to do it through technology. As you say, 6 times more machines, but only 20 to 30% more people. And because of that kind of like a pressure, there is pressure for innovation, meaning that even if the sector as medicine is conservative, there is a pressure to change. And I think that is pretty exciting, and it's a very exciting time to be a startup doing stuff in this industry.
Liselotte?
Yeah, I have 2 comments actually. Starting from what you said, that whether we are in the introductory phase, we're definitely there in the introductory phase, but I think that this growth period that you said that will be the next phase in the process, I really hope to see that it would be massive. It was really interesting to listen last year at the Nordic Business Forum. There was Professor Scott Galloway from New York, and he said that he's kind of like making predictions about the development of technology from time to time, and for years already. And he said that one of the indicators whether the new technology really breaks through is whether there are many scientific articles. And as you mentioned, with AI, we're really seeing the boom of the scientific articles, and we see that the boom should be there, and then we go into the practice and we freeze. And from this is now the second point I wanted to make. From my perspective as a lawyer, what I see is just one story. We have a client who has AI medical device. It's not Estonian. but they are certified already, and they want to go to different jurisdictions, and we are trying to help them in EU and also in the United States, etc. And in almost every jurisdiction where we have this introductory call with the local legal councils and or the local business partners, the first thing they say that our healthcare process is not ready for the implementation. You have the product, you have the certification, everything is like good to go, but they say that if we start talking about, like Pilvi said, that if we have like the standard process where we need 2 doctors, like you can skip this one. You can only have the one that just checks this automated result, and then they get scared. Not like even lawyers. Lawyers say, as Jarika also mentioned before in the panel, that law doesn't forbid much, but it's the mindset that forbids it. And there I see, it is very interesting to listen to Pilvi, that Pilvi says that there are no devices, and what I see from practice still is that we kind of have devices, but the market is reluctant to use it. So I think this very clearly shows that we have a long way to go, not only with the development of AI and ensuring that the AI itself is valid, that the AI itself is transparent and safe to use, but rather with the whole process of healthcare. I have a friend who is a pilot, and he has told me, like, for many, many years, that you know that actually you could go to a plane, like regular plane, go to this Barcelona, yeah, I like to go there, and yeah, the AI can be on the pilot seat without no human beings. We actually have the capability already now to have no human being on the pilot seat, but would you go on that plane? This is the question. So like, as a lawyer, I really would like to see, and it was very, very nicely brought out before during the panel from the audience, that we are a small region as Europe already. We need to cooperate. I try to speak it very often in Estonia, that we need to reinvent our system, we need to reinvent our processes, but maybe it doesn't make sense anymore to only speak about it in Estonia. Maybe we should speak about this on the EU level, not only like adopting the acts that govern the compliance issues of the devices or the issues that concern like practical safety of the issues, but rather the mindset and the processes.
Please, Thomas.
Just 2 things. Was exactly what I wanted to bring out in my slides, the 230 products in radiology. But they only focus on small things and probably not deliver what you demand, so the overall system. And that's where we currently stand, I think. And I think that probably in the near future we see a market consolidation, that because I also think that not all the startups can survive. I mean, they all fight for venture capital, but I have no idea how many of the 230 certified products do similar things. So I think there will probably be something, and that we have to coordinate. And then also this translational gap. And the next thing where we have to work on, I think, is procurement. Then we come to if all these 230 products have to go through a procurement process, it will also delay the whole thing. So if every hospital have to make a procurement process for this product, so I think maybe we can think of smarter ideas, and then maybe we can discuss this later, this platform idea, so that you have a platform and then plug in an AI solution. I have no idea what that has for complications in legal issues or whatsoever, but going through 230 processes to
One by one.
just to procure it, I think it doesn't make any sense.
One comment maybe as a follow-up to this. This very clearly also raises this another problem in the healthcare, is that healthcare is a very very interesting or kind of even a weird field, because it's kind of a business, like ordinary business, but then it's very, very dependent upon the public money. And that also creates boundaries to the development, to all the processes, and with this platform, I'm not delving into the legal many issues that are there, but the essence, like we 230 devices will go there, and we just like hold our thumbs that we would be the ones who will gain something, part of this public money. So yeah, this is very complicated part.
Pilvi?
There are a lot of companies developing different solutions, but very often a lot of companies do the same job. If during 1 month 3 different companies suggest me to buy their or just implement the product to diagnose fracture, it is quite not so challenging. And 3 different companies, how much they help me? Small piece, but not help very much. And I must ask money for the head of the hospitals, why I need this, how much it helps me. Maybe not so much. So small pieces, this is one thing. And they don't do the complex job. They do small piece. So if they look screening for lungs, but we need to check everything else also. The heart, the whole body, the bones. So they don't do the complex. They do only the small. Okay, it is also boring job. We need the small piece also. But they don't do the complexity, what the doctor needs to do. And one thing is very important, I think this, why we choose very carefully what we take in. We have so many different platforms the doctor needs to work. We have health hospital info system. Then we have this PAC system. Then different, we have 2 different MRI machines. And to work these images, very complex images, for example, about heart, you need special programs. And then we buy our equipment, and again, all these applications. But we want to reduce, if we need during one day to use different applications, people are crazy. They say, I work half time and go half time go to Barcelona and what. And this is the point, that we already have so many platforms to work every day and to remember. So the young people need to start. More experience they have gathered with years, but it is challenging. Why we very carefully evaluate what we take in and what we not take in.
I wanted to add to this thing that I think, just a side note, that the reason why there are so many bone fracture AIs there is that the pictures they analyze are very simple. It's like X-rays. You have usually 2 pictures, maybe one from one side, the other one from other side. And the pathology, meaning that the break is easy to detect. But then you go to more complex things, I don't know, is it aneurysm, brain aneurysm, or a cancer, then the structures are more complex, and the scans are also more complex because they're usually three-dimensional. I don't believe that this kind of like a unification of a field, that there will be this one magic one that would solve all of the radiology. But I do think that all the tools in different workflows, let's say oncology workflow or a cardiac workflow, or I don't know, trauma workflow, that there will be one tool covering certain workflow areas. So for our company, the idea is, and has been from the beginning, is that we do start with the stones, but we're working towards covering oncology as a platform, meaning that one day we can hopefully switch out the whole workflow with our tooling, having those viewers which are AI native, that they are meant and built in a way that AI feels natural to collaborate with a radiologist. And we see that this kind of existing players, like this kind of big manufacturers, are moving really slowly in this area. But I do agree that I've heard the same things from different radiologists, and I've heard this kind of like parallels that, look, I already have 4 phones. Why would I need a 5th phone if you come with your tooling? Meaning that I would have to either replace one of the 4 or be inside of the one of the 4. And then this is meaning that I do see that there is room for platforms in this area, and there will be consolidation. And this is already happening, actually.
And I would love to talk more about the platforms, 1 second. But before we go there, because we are right now in this stage of many disparate solutions, when you as a user, or perhaps you have experience through your clients and so on, when you look at those solutions, like what makes them differentiate today from their competitors? Is it the cost? Is it the efficiency? Is it their evidence, like, or real-world evidence? Like, what are we looking at today? Like, where are we right now?
Well, maybe just a comment from my side. What I have seen when we try to assist our clients to go and enter into jurisdictions, then the difference comes from conducting trials. Trials will be conducted by the potential buyer, and then if the results stand out very clearly, then we will enter into negotiations. So clearly the efficiency, the quality is the crucial points.
And these trials are run already before you have procured as a hospital?
Yes. Yes.
I think one challenge is to how we evaluate. It is not the price first as a first place, but if we always try the product, because the selling process is always, we are the best, we have 1,000 hospitals using worldwide, and why you don't buy this? AI is like human, are never 100% correct. But there are always not 100% sensitivity, accuracy, whatever. But if the numbers are very good, what are presented, but if the AI makes very significant mistake, it can work 95%, but these 5% are very significant mistakes, which can cost life of the patient, then we don't buy it. Every single patient, it cannot be we cannot lose patient. So it can be correct 95%, but if we lose 5%, for example, if we just didn't bought the product, they said, we have 1,000 hospitals, but okay, if he miss the thrombus in the head, and and our radiologists detected it. So we cannot miss such thing because it costs a life for the patient. So we said, sorry, make better after 2 years, please. So we bought only one piece, one small stone, but the other pieces, what they suggested, we didn't took. And the same was in other hospital in Estonia. It was not good enough because it made significant mistakes. So we always try.
Yeah.
But don't human beings make mistakes?
Humans also.
So which one is better? Just
because now we always check, but because we pay it also, and health insurance system don't pay for these products. It must be better than doctors. It must be. Then we can put money for this. But if they are equal or lower, and then we think our radiologist is still better. Maybe after 2 years we have 3 years contracts with small pieces, but if they have developed, maybe next time we buy.
I think today we are not completely ready yet, or actually not ready at all yet, for completely autonomous systems in a way that you can say, look, let's put the machine to work and let's never check. You have to have the human in the loop anyways, and then you have to see if this human in the loop, if it reduces your workload, as you said, or introduces workload, or is it exactly the same? So
yeah.
I think this is quite evident today, but maybe in 2 years' time. We will
Well, just one comment, sorry.
Last comment.
Sorry, I don't
All
let
good.
you moderate. In principle, I agree with you that we are not today here, that we are not ready for this fully autonomous use, and we are not ready to skip the human beings role there. But at the same time, as I think in previous panel it was several times mentioned, that we are aging population everywhere in Europe. For example, in Estonia, the fact is that in Estonia we have more doctors per patient at the moment than on average in OECD countries. So we are very doctor-centric society, healthcare system at the moment. So I'm just questioning that shouldn't we try to move this stigma, move this mindset that, I understand that we always want to be correct, but let's imagine in 2 years' time we have better solutions than now. We have less those mistakes. Are we then in principle willing to accept that if we say that yes, human beings also make mistakes, machines make mistakes, are we willing to accept that those mistakes are equal? And then we can shift our mindset and lower the burden of doctors in the society, and maybe use health coaches, maybe lead the healthcare in a different ways, and then, only then, we can use this technology so that it will lessen our burden. Because I'm not 100 years old, but I have read that at least 100 years already, with the development of different stages of technology, every time the human beings are claiming that technology will do your business better, you will have more free time to go to Barcelona. And still, do we see that we are working less? I don't think so. So I think the AI will have this huge impact only if we let go our current mindsets, current stigmas, and try to reinvent ourselves.
Thank you. Let's take a couple of thoughts and questions from the audience. There, I think you were the first one there.
Thank you for this panel. A lot of thoughts. This is my favorite topic. So first of all, humans make mistakes, and humans make more mistakes than AI. It's been proven. It's been scientifically proven. In, for example, in radiology, in chest, and in breaking bones, 68 to 75% is accuracy for humans. 96 to 99.5 is AIs, right? And it's proven. But why is that? Because we are checking the AI, right? Because radiologist is checking AI's work, and every time it is false negative or false positive, we check it and we, haha, we catch you, right? How many do we check humans? So from 100 patients, if you have 2 or 3 mistakes, only one of them probably will go to another city, to another hospital, and he will do another X-ray, maybe, right? I don't know the Estonian statistics, but for example, in Latvia, for all the traumas which happen, we have only 8% of people who has been like going back and trying to understand why it still hurts, right? So it's not equal. We cannot deal equally with those mistakes humans do and AIs do until we figure out the measurement. One more quick comment about AI and about Estonia, and sorry guys, this is one thing which you need to consider about new technology. It's good that you have Pillibank and that every picture is going in one place, but it's also doing you a very great bottleneck, because basically solution who is coming into the market and who is not is dependent almost on one human being. And not only that, it's also an association of radiologists. I have been by the table several times, and they said, okay, let's try with the bones first. We have a lot of companies coming in. Mammograms, they can wait. Chest, they can wait. And then companies are like standing in the queues and waiting or running around the hospitals and bothering you while you are working, right? So this bottleneck, so what Estonia needs to do is probably to invent, either it's from TechIC, through TechIC or through some other NGOs, probably some kind of way how these new technologies can be tested, as we saw in France, for example. Let's give 2-3 hospitals some kind of, I don't know, mandate that you can test AI in radiology. You have children's department here. Test everything for children here, because you are the knowledge center, right? So figure out the way how the technology comes in, and then afterwards you won't be able then say that, you know, it's, oh, the technology is not here, it's not coming here. And the last point, what you also mentioned about small pieces, it's good that it's small pieces. Because also, let's get back to the bones. It started with the bone breaks for adults. Afterwards, it's children, because children bones break another way. It bends more than it breaks and so on. So if it's a growth plate, it's again another finding, right? If it's dislocation, it's another finding. So they are adding more and more things afterwards. Right now, they are doing bone measurements. For doctor, bone measurements goes like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes while you do bone measurements to whole body or to scoliosis. With AI is 3 seconds, right? But they are adding this more and more and more, and it will be like already Prit said, that you will have a one patient pathway which will be full with radiology AIs. And radiology actually from AI topics is in the best place, because it's been working since 2012, and why? Because come back to all what we talked today is just because there is a DICOM, and DICOM is unique standard in all the world, and here you can see how much one common data set, one common data understanding and data format, how much it can do. Take a look into the I think it was last year, November, published, Karolinska University published about mammograms, right? It's the thing with which we have, again, mammograms, which you mentioned already, which we have in Europe, doctor plus AI is more effective than 2 doctors in mammograms. That's proven here in Karolinska. It's neighbors, right? So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Just have also a quick comment. I think we are definitively, the introduction phase is definitively behind us. Like, we are already in the growth phase for quite a few years. For example, for bone detection with AI, in France is for 75% of the 32 university hospitals already have implemented these kind of solutions in routine. So I mean, we are in the growth phase. For sure, we are not in the maturity phase. We will have consolidation and so on. And the question of, do we need small pieces? Do I need one generalist AI that can do like a 90% of the job? Or do I need like to buy 3 AI to have 95% of the job that is done? It will depend on if you are a radiologist on a small center or if you are a professor of radiology in a large university hospital. So this will depend, and the threshold will depend on who you are. But for sure, we already have like dynamic procurement systems that purchasing center can use to add and remove solutions and algorithms that are available to hospitals across countries. And also, there are already frameworks and companies that are integrating and help doctors to integrate the small blocks, such as, for example, in Septo, they are doing, they make available the different algorithms to the healthcare professional, depending on the use case, depending on the needs they have. So they don't develop the different blocks, but they helps to, let's say, have this harmonized way of interacting with any kind of AI algorithms, such as LangChain did with all the LLM models for the generalist chatbots and so on. And I think that's my comment.
Thank you. Oliver?
Thank you very much. My name is Oliver from the Scanbal Digital Working Group. I think the question is not if AI is doing mistakes and the human is doing mistakes. The question is who is responsible. And responsibility is the clue. And as long as we do not have clear responsibilities with AI, we will never have the acceptance for human decisions. And this is one point. Other point is, Thomas, I liked very much your literacy aspect. I think it's crucial that normal human beings get some experience with AI technologies. We do not have to talk in expert cycles only about AI technologies. We have to bring it to normal people. Because when they understand what is behind AI, then they will accept decisions or decisions driven by AI. In Germany, we have a yellow press newspaper giving now AI tools for daily life questions. What I am cooking today, please use AI and we can help you. I think this is a good way to make it more acceptable for normal human beings and patients in the end.
Who's responsible for your stomach pain after that?
And yeah, we are also responsible of explaining to people what they can expect from the AI. The question is that AI, they are just tools. So of course, it can make a poor intern as good as, let's say, an experimented doctor. But what proof and what was published is like if you remove the AI tool from this intern, then he is going back to his previous level. So it's not a training tool. AI is not training interns. So that means we still have to do the training of this future radiologist to become an experimented doctor. But the AI can help in other ways. But we just need to be clear about what are our expectations and what it does and what it doesn't. So if we know from the early beginning when we are buying the thing that it will not detect the stroke, then that's fine. That's just we have to be aware when we are using the tool that we still have to do this to look at this part of the brain to check if there is something wrong or not.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is a nice transition, actually, when we are still talking about the current solutions and how we look at them. Responsibility goes really, hand in hand with trust and going to the topic of the AI Act. And this is fresh from the oven. And when we look at it, my curiosity is really like, what are the main kind of paragraphs that we should be really keeping in mind when we're developing these solutions? Liselotte, would you have any thoughts there?
Well, very good that you mentioned tool, like a word tool. when we talk about the medical devices field, and we talk about medical devices that are artificial intelligence systems within the meaning also of the AI Act, then we are talking high-risk systems. And this is from legal perspective, this actually makes a huge differentiation between just a tool and being a high-risk AI system. And with the AI Act, as you asked, what are those maybe crucial points to consider is, since this is straight from the oven and we have little bit time to reflect upon this, see how the standards will develop and see what the market says, etc. But what I'm saying to my clients is that you are in the field where you have to very carefully consider all those high-risk system requirements. And from healthcare providers' perspective, what concerns me very much in the context of this tool comment is that we are not anymore using only tools like, I don't know, like measuring my temperature or something. Because when the doctor uses the temperature measurement tool, then she or he will just check this. Okay, you have the fever or you don't have the fever, and you trust that the measurement is correct. But with the medical devices or AI as medical devices, then you come upon these human interference measures that the provider of the AI tool must, first of all, foresee, like what are those crucial measures, and then, as was mentioned before, those people at this hospital who are at the deployer, they are employees of the deployer, they then must have this knowledge how to implement those measures, how to interfere. And I think it is not that easy. I think, like with all the new legal acts, the time will show how the act will be implemented, the case law will show how the liability will develop, but I'm very concerned about those obligations that fall upon the deployers, AI system deployers, and especially also about this literacy. How do we check it? How do we measure it?
I think that the AI law comes from the perspective where there is no regulation. So basically we start with this kind of like, if you think about GDPR and this kind of protecting privacy in Europe, this is, I think, one of these kind of fundamental values we have in Europe when you compare, or in European Union when you compare us, let's say, to China. And then we wouldn't maybe want to have, because of our painful history, this kind of capabilities for states or any actors that they can track us based on cameras on the streets like we know happens in Russia and so on. So we have certain levels of expectations on privacy and human rights. But what happens, and now me as a medical device developer, is that the whole MDR is about basically risk management and risk assessment of the medical device and safety and quality. So basically, if you think about these things, then I personally think that AI as a medical device is already really well regulated under the MDR. So I think that this kind of adding an AI Act layer on top of medical devices is over-regulating, definitely. And I also think that when we think about medical devices, it's still that any medical device is a tool. Until we are in the situation where they are completely autonomous, but then they are also class 3. They're much higher risk class devices, and they will go under much higher level of clinical validation and testing before they get actually approvals. So I am a little bit concerned about the competitiveness of European Union and the innovation here in European Union when you compare ourselves to United States or any other part of the world that is less regulated, because I see that we will have those regulation on top of regulation, and today we are like, there is this word in Estonia which is ragastik, that you have this kind of like a jungle of regulation, but you should rather have a framework that is easy to navigate, and we don't have a framework, we have a jungle in a way, and this is a limiting factor for innovation.
Yeah, which is something Thomas's team is also trying to tackle, right?
Yeah, actually, and I think also the notified bodies have now started to notice this, and as far as I know, they
and the requirements are crazy for them.
Yeah, they want to switch to a software-based system so that you do. I think I'm not an expert in this, but I think currently you have to bring in the papers or whatever. But they want to really set this on a software system, and the FDA is already going this way, and I think in Europe they want to follow this way, so that you can directly send this to the notified body and exchange this. But it's in the early phase, as far as I know.
I love that our panel is super interactive, that the people are talking. It's really cool.
So
it's more like a round table.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love the roundtable format. I'm Katrina from a DTX company, so thank you for the discussion. Maybe one question to every one of you is, and Pilvi answered it very well, but the others is the why. And regarding what Preet said before is very much agree with you. MDR regulates the clinical decision supports very well. The AI Act is another layer. It's there, we cannot fight it, we have to agree with it, so you can consult with Liselotte on that as well, but I think the most important question on the stage and off the stage and in the room is the why. What Pilvi brought out before is why the healthcare providers actually need to do more, why the young ones are going away, why they want to work less, and why, I don't know, not only in the healthcare provider setting, but everywhere in the system. We actually need new tools and more AI implementation. So I don't know, maybe Preet, you can start with your why.
I think I already answered this. This is very simple. In 10 years' time, Estonian healthcare system will be missing $1 billion. Where do we get this billion? I don't know. In 10 years' time, I will be 54. I will be most likely paying more taxes, but what will happen to my kids? Who will pay for the healthcare? We have this kind of like a general national system of healthcare. So I'm really worried as a citizen and a patient, because I'm also a patient. Everybody of us are patients. Is that what will happen to our home healthcare system if we don't figure out smarter ways and more efficient ways how to keep it up? Because we basically are fighting today the time and the lack of human resource, basically. We're fighting these two things to keep our standard of living. And this applies to any European or developed country or even underdeveloped countries, because populations are aging, we will have less people paying taxes, and at some point we will have inequalities in the society, we will have unrest. We don't know how the whole thing transforms in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years' time. And this is the why we need to go and not scale from humans, but from technology. We have to be able to do things smarter in a way that we will be working like hell, but at least maybe the input of one radiologist today in 10 years' time gives the output of 10 radiologists or 5 radiologists. And then we can help, because I think the statistic is that we have roughly 12 radiologists per 100,000 people in Estonia, or roughly like this. Meaning that maybe we will only need to have 6 per 100,000 people, and we will still survive. But to do that, we would need to have really good processing technology. Everything needs to be great, amazing.
Thomas.
Yeah, I have two comments from my side. I would follow up on Pritt's comment. If we consider this 230 CE marked products and the 800 something in the FDA, so what do you think? How much of this development do they have in common? I guess a lot. And all the companies, the startups have put in a lot of effort to build these tools. And I think we have to find smarter ways of developing new solutions. So that's why I brought up the open source stuff, because then you have like 80% that you can share among everyone, because I definitely think that 80% is overlapping in these tools. And then invest your intelligence in the 20% of innovation. And I think this is one thing. We don't have the time and money to finance all the parallel development that we are doing. And the other thing, we have to speed up in bringing it to the market. And the only way is somehow, of course, reduce the complexity, but we also have to want to be safe. So maybe we can somehow share these, I don't know, procurement processes whatsoever, I don't know. But I think it doesn't make sense that in Germany we have roughly around a little bit below 2,000 hospitals. If every hospital goes through the procurement process for the same product, it is simply bullshit, sorry.
Yeah. And because we are close to end of the time, I would transition that into something that we discussed before this panel as well. We're talking about open systems for sharing that information and so on. We had lively discussions around the need even within Estonia, but could we even think more broadly platforms or systems where we are sharing data? Because when we talk about AI versus digital health, AI is so much about efficiency and better decision making, where you need massive amounts of shared interoperable data, right? What kind of thoughts do you have here if we look at tomorrow, where in Estonia or in Europe we could be with data sharing? We have the European health data space and everything, but where do we start?
With data sharing?
With data sharing in Estonia, for example, yeah.
That's the good question. And I have 1 minute, yes. Oh, well, I think I didn't arrive in the morning, but I think in the morning you had overview about the Estonian health data solutions and how we have the e-health solution for many years. We have Bildibank, we have then all the hospitals have their own IT systems, etc. So we have loads of data. We are just not using it. Still in Estonia, we are in the middle of this situation where we have family doctors that's supposed to provide us with the preventive care and guard over our children, etc. And then we have hospitals, and those two, they don't communicate with each other. Although the data is there, the data is electronical even. We don't have the data on paper for ages anymore. But still, the data is not communicating. So I think, honestly, although I'm a lawyer, but I think that European health data space won't save anything. This regulation itself, regulations do not save the world.
Yes. I love you. I really like this.
But we. I say it again, we need to reinvent ourselves, our processes, and maybe, if I may, this why question, I want to rephrase it, why should doctors use the AI solutions? And I think there we need incentives from the financiers. We need incentives that we are not paying for services, but we are paying for the outcome, and that's it.
I very much agree, Liisa-Lotte, with you, and sorry, Paula, for cutting in. I think there's a lot of whys and a lot of questions in this panel as well. Just to maybe correct a mistake, Estonian health data is digital, and the family doctors actually see the things that...
Yeah, they see, but if you see the statistics, then, for example, family doctors even don't follow up on this, whether I was released from hospital or not.
They definitely do.
No. They don't. There was even research, if you can check Ministry of Social Affairs, there was research about this, and this communication in practice, although it might happen, but in practice it doesn't.
Yep.
One thing I want to bring out, why we don't implement AI systems in the hospital. And I think, I am a doctor, I'm not a lawyer. And if somebody comes to me and said, we want to try implement this, I don't know. Is it allowed? Mm-hmm. Is the system such that I can implement? Mm. How the images are going, where are they going? They are still in the hospital, they are going out, they are going to the cloud, they are going to America. And it is so many problems. And I'm the only doctor, I'm not a lawyer. And there are several lawyers coming in the hospital, I can ask, but I'm still confused. What are the rules? I don't have anybody to ask.
Yeah, good point. Okay.
Because there are several times I have said, you go to jail. Because you are not fulfilling. And there are several things I go to jail. I have said directly, if you do wrong, you go to jail. I don't want to go. Or sometimes I feel in jail, maybe it's good. I can read a book and free food and
free food and a bed.
A bed, and I can sleep and read a book.
And once a month family can visit.
Yeah, but this is a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know all the and then you change the laws.
Okay.
What is allowed, what is not allowed, and there are several people, several lawyers now in the hospital. I ask, and there is all kind of kuidas andmekaitse on?
Data protection.
All right.
Data protection laws, and then I ask, and this is also feeling that yes, it is maybe good product, but it's so hard to implement.
You see, the doctors are overwhelmed, clearly.
I want, but this is not our field. I feel that it is too difficult.
Priit, one last comment.
Yeah, you asked about the data interoperability, and I think you actually nicely brought it out. That I see that there are 3 levels of problems we have to tackle to have these things solved. One is cultural problem, meaning that there is a lot of fear, misconceptions, what just Pilvi just said, because of this kind of misunderstandings and fear on the regulations. And I mentioned this rägastik ja raamistik. So basically, somehow the regulations have not become a framework, they have become a mesh of things which create this kind of fear. So maybe if we would regulate less in Europe and or somehow create this kind of very understandable frameworks how to navigate through them really nicely. Maybe this will actually be something you guys solve at some point. Then this needs to change, meaning that we need to change the attitude, meaning the perception and the culture. This is why I say it's culture. Regulation needs to also be more simple maybe. And the third thing is technical blockers. And technical blockers is this fragmentation of technical space. As you mentioned, there are, I don't know, 5 different family doctor systems. There are 3 or 4 or 5 hospital information systems. We actually have this Pildipank, which is the national PACS, and then Digilugu, which is the national electronic health records. And again, 2 different systems, but these are not actually linked together. We know that digital pathology is starting. This is also not properly linked together. So all these digital bits, they're not talking, meaning that standardization there and maybe leading as a country, saying, look, we're going to maybe with the help of incentives by the payers to unify that bit and start, let's say, reducing fear, reducing regulation, and reducing fragmentation on the technical side, then we can do something.
Very ambitious.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks so much.
One last question.
Yeah,
I was waiting. Thank you so much. I have a question on how do you want to implement this in practice? Because I totally agree with all the points. I'm myself a manufacturer of AI CDSS. And then the question is literacy. Who should teach?
You
Yes,
and me.
but
Right now.
I don't have the resources to teach 10 hospitals. So I come again, then we have again a bottleneck. The same goes to interoperability. Like you are asked as a manufacturer to have fire and all these systems, and you check all the boxes, then you go to a hospital, they don't have it. So, you know, there is like a kind of a gap where I think there should be some practical framework, a little bit more concrete.
And even the DICOM protocol,
Yeah.
it's like wonderful protocol since 2002. But different manufacturers and
Exactly.
systems implement, and
Yes.
the DICOM conformity is on a very different level.
Yeah.
So this is like huge pain because, and I know that my systems are using DICOM but the answer is that the literacy, basically when you sell a software, you have to educate them anyway. Otherwise, it will not be used properly.
But
So-
it goes
and the
very
AI
deep to the
AI
root of the
literacy
concept. You said
need-
we need to change behavior,
to
so
come
it's
there.
very...
Well, in the end, it must be integrated into the university systems as well, like everything
Ah,
we
and
are
this-
using in the
this is
society.
good.
But this is a long run. But yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much for your interest. I really like and love that you have so many things to discuss. And
we can speak, like we should
could
form a
continue that
circle.
after the panel. There's a lot of knowledge and experience here. I guess this is something we can really take away. One, regulations are regulations. They're there to serve us, but we have brains here, and we should figure out how to move on. And if we look into tomorrow, how can we come together perhaps to really make systems work for us rather than us working for the system? Thank you so much for the panel. Excellent input. Thank you so much for the roundtable. Excellent input. And I'll hand over to our main moderator.
Thank you. Quick picture. Panelist Liisa-Lotta, could you please come back just to take a quick picture of the panel? Sorry about that. And now, just to say final words about everything we have discussed today, I'm asking Christina to come here. We're happy to have you. You're already turned on. Pilvi and Preet, could you also... Yes, please, go.
No,
that's not an issue.
you can take your time.
Thank you. And now, word to Christina to be the last one to say a few words and to wrap up this day of presentations, keynotes, and also roundtable at the end. Thank you.
So thank you guys. I'm Christina Sepp from Enterprise Estonia. I am the head of this focus area of health technologies and services. By profession, I'm a pharmacist, so I have served, I think, thousands of patients in my life. So I know the patient needs, also I understand the business perspective. And now we are trying to leverage in throughout the country to support the health tech ecosystem. The presentations definitely were comprehensive and really, how to say, interesting. But also the panel discussions, oh my God, guys. So Pilvi, I love you. So next time when we have something, I will definitely invite you. You definitely gave a really good perspective of doctor. So I definitely feel you. And thank you for being so honest. And I know the younger ones really want to have a vacation in Barcelona. So this is the true, and this is, we are in trouble in Estonia at least. But why we have such kind of event in Estonia, then Estonia has a really strong startup business ecosystem. Society is open to technology, and the level of research is high. Also, we have this existing health data infrastructure, and previous successful experiences in implementing new solutions give a good advantage for research and development activities, and the implementation of new technology and services in healthcare. As I already mentioned, ELK technology services is one of the focus areas in Estonia for now, I think at least for 10 years. And the goal is for the focus area to collaborate with research institutions and the business community to develop improved, more accessible and personalized health services, while also creating opportunities for the business. We have also selected a number of priority areas. One is smart health data use, inclusive, personalized healthcare services, biotechnology, interdisciplinary research and developments. And in compared to last year, when I started the position, I think we have done a number of initiatives and support mechanisms for the ecosystem. We have developed, export program for health tech companies, support mechanism for deep tech companies, and now we are on the ending process picking up one of this, health technology community keeper, community holder. And we have two consortium. What I'm happy about of this event, somehow we managed to gather everybody here and everybody gave their input there. And it was marvelous to see and feel. Looking ahead to the future, it definitely poses a number of challenges we already heard. I heard the breed worries that what will happen with these children, in 10 years' time, and how they will have this healthcare provided for them. We know that multiple chronic diseases are increasing and lack of resources, and this is definitely a challenge. Challenge in Estonia is also that our patients, as we have been occupied by Russia for 50 years, is quite passive. So we still hope that somebody will tell us what to do. But we see that for the future, we need somehow to empower the patients in the system, to give them tools, to teach them. And I think digital therapeutics in use is a great way to support them in everyday when they have some chronic illnesses. And there is an urgent need to move from sick care to healthcare. I think this was mentioned in this, not today, but a few days ago also. Digital solutions are viewed as a crucial tool in achieving better health, including empowering patients. However, not all digital applications will necessarily lead to better health outcomes. The focus should be on use cases with the potential to make a difference in patient outcomes. The key to this transformative journey lies in unlocking the potential of data-driven digital tools, marking the one set of new era of value-driven healthcare. Value-based healthcare heavily depends on data analytics to measure the patient outcomes and cost drivers. The digital data and AI transformation in healthcare is rapidly progressing and playing increasingly central role in the shift towards value-based healthcare. However, to unleash the potential of digital data and AI, stakeholders in the healthcare system, we already, I am considering in Estonia, but outside Estonia, patients, investors, care providers, public institutions need to collaborate. So collaboration, I think, where this theme word throughout every session, I would say. And data is definitely in healthcare is becoming increasingly important. So every second, a massive amount of healthcare data is generated and analyzed for valuable insights. And we also know that if the data is not used, then it doesn't give any value. So, however, up to 97% of the data is not being used at all. So I think we are in trouble, but I think we can also make some changes in this. And I also would like to touch, the doctors and nurses' perspective. There's done a number of research And there was 3,000 participants or more, and 2/3 of them reported feeling overwhelmed by the current volume of patient data. Those who were with us on Monday, they heard that we have this data viewer for the healthcare providers, for healthcare professionals, and this has definitely eased the problem. However, it is expected that the same percentage will be overwhelmed with a widespread of digital technology. So we need to increase the awareness and the readiness of the system. And in addition, when we talk about this health data space, I truly think that it supports innovation of digital solutions by connecting and making datasets available. It also provides better opportunities for research and innovation, as well as access to health data. However, this doesn't mean that everyone gets access to everything. The system is built on GDPR, Data Governance Act, Data Act, etc., aiming to provide a secure setting to access and process health data. And I still truly believe, although I heard some other things, some of the speakers, the European health database is a crucial enabler to disruptive innovation in healthcare by providing secure and interconnected network for accessing and processing health data. AI. So this quite fruitful discussion which we had, I think AI will generate significant changes in healthcare. The Latvian guy, I agree with you. So I do know the mistakes that people can make his hiring compared to AI, and I think that when we can replace at least one doctor in radiology, that's already good enough. And AI enables digital therapeutics to offer highly personalized treatment plans by analyzing vast amounts of patient data and leading to better patient outcomes. However, there is a number of challenges. I won't start from scratch, but I mentioned some of them. Ensuring the privacy and security of the patient, navigating the complex regulative landscape, integrating AI in the existing healthcare infrastructure, as Pilvi mentioned, is a key. But I think the most important is the gaining the trust and acceptance of clinicians is crucial, as they are skeptical about the reliability and safety of AI-driven solutions. And as I can't say the name, so I'm so bad, but somebody mentioned this also at if we want to use AI, we need to seamlessly integrate into clinical workflows, and it should be supported by adaptable data management. And last but not least, reimbursement. This is definitely a key topic. In Estonia, at least, I see this is prohibits getting into the market, and often our companies maybe do not see the other payer asides of health insurance fund. Reimbursement pathways for digital health solutions are evolving at different speeds in different European markets. Relatively mature markets, some of those representatives are here as well, have already standardized reimbursement pathways. Furthermore, something to consider, I think everybody's countries often set different clinical guidelines and patient pathways for treatments. This too increases the amount of detailed analysis any provider must conduct to embed a solution seamlessly into healthcare system. To be eligible for public reimbursement, digital therapeutics need to show strong evidence on their effectiveness. Strong. That's why it's important to have a smart market strategy to build this proof. And to sum up, so I think I was fast. So the problem is the lack of digital innovation. We have it. But scaling data, digital and AI for impact in healthcare system requires collaboration. I noticed that I repeat myself, but you know, collaboration is a key thing in every ecosystem. And there is the truth, no one can do this alone, and patients, providers, payers, etc., pharma, regulators, and even big techs. I love music, so therefore, you know, I would like to have this, I don't know, expression that we are an orchestra, each instrument is playing its part, and together we will compose a symphony of harmonizing data, technology, and compassion. So, and last quote, not by myself, but I would like to end with this Clayton Christensen. This I picked up on the first day. Sorry, guys, those for whom it is the first day. For me, it's the third day. So on the first day, we number of times touched this that for 4 billion people, they don't have access to quality healthcare. But the quote goes as follows. Innovation are shaped by people who invent, develop, produce, and adopt them. Thus, to ensure that arc of innovation bends towards equity, all of us whose action, choices, influence innovations need to be ever mindful of whether we are steering innovations towards equity or maintaining the status quo. So this is everything by me, so hopefully you will have a nice network after that, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Christina. That was DTX New Nordics 2024. We are aiming to be back with that event next year as well. As Christina already mentioned to her and to some of us, this is already a third day of Estonian Health Tech Week. We're expecting to be back with that next year as well. So that's it for today. We still have the space for 1 hour, so you can stay here and have further discussions. There are some refreshments served in the back of the room. Just one small note before you leave, please leave your badges downstairs. As you can know, these we don't own these. These are from Startup Day, which is a flagship event we also help to organize, and they will require these in January. So thank you so much. Hoping to stay in touch with you and meet you next year.